Well, the first thing we should say
Yes.
is that Joe Satriani is the guy that really got me to play guitar. Like, if it wasn't for Joe and me seeing him play Satch Boogie live on some show, I probably wouldn't, at the age of 16, picked up a guitar and started playing, and then ended up meeting you, Rabia, Stick, and all the people that I work with now. Wow. So thank you, Joe Satriani.
Yep.
And I met him once, and I became a little girl.
Really?
Yeah. I almost crashed my car because he was stood at the corner of a hotel in London. I was meeting Eddie Kramer for a meeting, and I was putting my car in to park, and he was stood there looking all Joe, with the hat on and his guitar on his own, just chilling. And I was like, ooh, ooh. And I managed to like pull up and park the car, and I stumbled out and went, "You're Joe Satriani, I love everything you do." I like shook his hand, and he was exactly the way you would want your hero to be. He was the nicest guy. He had all the time in the world to listen to me dribble on about how I thought he was amazing. And he was great. So anyway, that's my Joe Satch.
Your
love.
Joe Satch story.
Yeah.
So, kind of, he's had a bit of a history with other brands in his time, Mr. Joe Satriani. Although he's always had an affinity for Marshall. I think he's kind of, in the early days it was Marshall. Then he went off and did things with other brands.
Well, when I started playing, it was I wanted to get a Joe Satch tone, and I went to the Guitar Institute, which is now called the ICMP. And I remember a blues guitar player there was a teacher called Ian Scott. And he said to me, if you want the Joe Satriani tone, you buy a Marshall and you get some good pedals, and that's your tone done. So I went off and I did that. And that's what I used for a long time.
And then I know he kind of caused a bit of a furore in the industry because he released a new signature amplifier with another brand, and then almost simultaneously did a video with Marshall talking to Santiago, talking about basically how he loved the basically the JVM amplifier, and he was thinking about doing something with that. So,
but you know what I love about Joe and that in particular?
What?
Doesn't give a Joe is just true to himself. Like if he finds a better sound, he just goes for the better sound. Yeah. He's not doing anything really for anybody else.
Do you know why
he's being
is?
True to himself.
Although all these famous artists get paid some kind of royalty off the amplifiers that they sell, the reality is it's this much compared to what they earn from doing other stuff. So really, they don't really care about the money that they're making out the amp. For them, for guys like Satriani, it's all about their name being associated with a product and wanting that product to literally be the best that they can make.
Yeah, and you've got to like the hammer you're swinging, because if you don't, you're just going to hate every gig you play. You're never going to get that feeling on stage, and you connect with the gear and it becomes one. And he's just found the right brand for him, you know.
So this is great timing. This is because this is the 50th year that Marshall have been in existence. It's a fabulous anniversary for them, and also a sad one because obviously it's, you know, the year that Jim Marshall
probably the last
passed away
signature
as well.
model created while Jim was alive, I suppose.
Almost certainly was. And it's great that Marshall and Joe Satriani have been able to do something in the 50th anniversary of Marshall. What they've done is they've sent the guy that does all the top mods for all the top guys is Santiago, so the guy who worked with Slash and Yngwie Malmsteen and now Satriani. They've taken Joe Satriani's kind of favourite Marshall amplifier, which is called a 6100, which is a 30th anniversary, believe it or not. You know, I actually remember selling those as well, and I can't believe that now Marshall are in the 50th anniversary means that was 20 years ago. Huh. So this is what they've done is taken some of the voicings from the 6100, combined that, believe it or not, actually with some of the voicings from the AFD that they did for Slash, given that taken the sort of the functionality of the JVM410, because that's probably the most versatile of all Marshall amplifiers they've ever made. Replaced a couple of things, like instead of having reverb on this, you have a noise gate. Pretty much all the voicings are different to a JVM. In fact, we're very lucky today because we've got Rabia here from Chappers band who gigs with a regular JVM, so he's really been able to tell us, you know, where the big tonal differences are.
It's really, really obvious that Joe's had a hand in everything. I mean, you can tell the guy is really, really obsessed with tone. There are all sorts of features within the amp that you can't see that you know he spent man-hours creating and making sure they tweak to perfection.
So we're going to run through the 4 channels. We use the JVM MIDI floorboard that it comes with, which is great, which allows you to sort of pre-program 6 different channel settings.
Oh, and we should say, the reason I'm using my own personal guitar is that I'm such a Joe Satch fan. I've actually got a Mojo in the bridge here, and none of the Ibanez guitars we could find had a Mojo. So we're using Joe's signature DiMarzio humbucker.
So what we've done is we've kind of set up a really nice sound on each of the 4 channels. So we're going to sort of go from a clean sound through to a stepped high gain sound. And we've laid out some pedals on the floor here, again, in an homage to Joe. I nearly called him Joe. An homage to Joe. We've got his Vox saturator, his Vox Big Bad Wah, and then an MXR Phase 90 for that, you know, classic kind of 80s
studio vibey kind of surfing with alien tone, yeah.
We're using the noise gate on the 2 drive channels. It wasn't necessary for us to use it on the 2 clean channels because we didn't really have any gain or any, and therefore any background noise. It does have an effects loop, but we're not running any reverb or anything through this. You're just hearing it as it comes. Regular 1960A, which is apparently the cab that Satch spec to go with this. He didn't want to use any of the different speakers that are available, so it's just a bog standard 1960A. Shall we?
I think we should display
go
some
on
tones.
that journey.
I think we should. I think what we'll do is just to give, because there are so many different kinds of tones you can get. I think we'll do a kind of voyage of tone with some really simple chords, just so you can focus on the tones rather than fancy guitar playing. And then we'll have a bit of riffing fun at the end and kind of really get into some of the pedals and sort of some of the high gain stuff. So
I'll show you when we get round to the gain settings as well. I'll show you this mid shift feature, which is different on the Satch modified one. And basically, I think we are good to go, aren't we?
okay, so clean tones. This is channel 1.
Classic Marshall clean sound where it's not, I don't think it's a naturally kind of mellow kind of clean sound, but when you use it through a 412 it gives it that bass, so it's the kind of clean sound that's going to
buttery edge.
Yeah, it's going to cut in the mix. I think if you took that head and ran it through a 112 you'd probably find that the clean sound didn't quite have the bottom end, but certainly through a 412 and probably through an enlarged 212 it would sound great.
I must say the one thing that I find missing from this is the reverb. I mean, I just like to have an amp reverb built into it. Joe's whipped it out, clearly because he's got some amazing reverb going on into the loop.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you're Satriani, he doesn't turn up at kind of gigs to play in front of 100 people and go, curses, my sound man hasn't got a rack full of £1 million reverbs that I could use with my...
yeah.
So, but that's pretty normal. There's loads of heads that you buy.
Oh yeah, I know. And you can
got,
get some incredible reverb pedals too. So.
You can, of course, program the effects loop in. So you plug your reverb pedal through the effects loop, and then using the MIDI board, you decide which sounds you want your reverb to work on and which ones you don't.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool like that. So channel 2. Channel 2 is described on the amp as a crunch channel, and we are using it on its yellow mode, I think. Yes, what's it sound like with the
what?
Phaser? Or
with the phaser.
I was thinking because you started.
It sounds like that.
Channel 3. Or 3.
More of a kind of filthy thing, I suppose. Filthy thing. That should be a song by Joe Satriani, shouldn't it? Filthy thing! If he actually writes that song...
it's more of a chicken... I can see
it's
Sammy
more of a chicken
Hagar
foot,
talking
yeah.
about.
I wish I was Sammy Hagar. Then I get to play with Joe Satriani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interestingly, none of the... I think you might all be surprised, and we'll do some close-ups of the panel shot here. I think you'd be surprised about where we've got the gain settings here. I don't think we've got... Our highest gain setting is OD1, with it literally just above 12 o'clock. And I think it's allowing you to get that kind of dynamic, so it drives when you pick hard, not so much when it doesn't.
Something I've noticed, I'm fairly sure this is something that Joe would have asked for, is that you can't get too much gain with the amplifier. Like, my experience with the JVM series, and some of the guys at Marshall have agreed with me on this, is that you can get too much gain with the JVM410. It's kind of uncontrollable, oversaturated. With this, it doesn't seem that you can get too much gain, and it just gets better when you turn it up. And I think Joe runs it flat out volume-wise.
Right.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, we're nowhere near.
No, we're about,
or something, aren't we? Yeah. Let me just show you as well. I don't know if you can turn the volume all the way up on the guitar and just. Okay, so that's how much noise you would traditionally get out of an amp with no noise gate, and that's how much noise you get when it has got a noise gate.
And it's a really good noise gate too.
Yeah. So if Chappers plays some stat. Don't do that.
I'm used to using the volume control for that kind of thing.
So you can just hear, there's like a microsecond at the end of Chappers stops playing that the gate kicks in, but it's very, I mean again, you probably only hear it if you're listening for it. That's the other kind of...
That was really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys know how a noise gate works. Pretty simple piece of technology. It says, right, here's my signal path going through, and I'm going to be a gate that kind of just goes, right, we can allow all the signal through or none of the signal through. And that's how a gate works.
It's like a new martial art league.
Yeah.
And but it's allowing sensitivity.
Yeah, so what the optimum place to set the gate is to go, at what point is the noise that's going through guitar, because that's what you want to hear, and at what point is the noise just background noise, that's what you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's why you find when you're playing very long, sustainy, kind of subtle notes, the noise gate will find it difficult to know which is a note and which is a background noise. So if you let a note die, you'll hear at what point.
But it didn't really do that. Like.
So there you go. So you get a pretty natural decay before that kicks in. Of course, if you're always playing those kind of very, you want that note to die very, very naturally, you just turn the noise gate off, and you just have to probably have a little less gain and then live with.
Well, of course, with the foot pedal, you could have it on or off with the foot pedal. So,
absolutely. So that was channel 3. Channel 4, and what Rob will probably do during channel 4 as well, is again we'll use the Vox saturator just to, we've got the gain very low on the saturator, we're really just using it to sort of thicken the sound up for a bit of a lead boost.
We'll do with and without, so you can
with and without. With or without you.
Don't go there.
Okay.
That's great.
That is, it's Satriani.
It's really, really,
in a bottle,
good.
Isn't it?
It's really good. If only they made
like
Satriani
with the
what? Oh, that's good.
What about with the saturator pedal?
Okay, well, I think we've got a little bit. We've got enough gain as it is.
Okay.
So back off the gain, then we'll add the saturator.
Shall I go back to OD1?
No. Leave it on 4. Yeah, now we add in the sash. We're going to start without the saturator. I'm going to play a riff. We're going to whack it on. I'm going to go into some crazy lead. Lee, could you put the pedal on for me, please?
Of course.
When I indicate by doing this.
Okay.
It's a British thing. We did that in Narnia. Did you kick the microphone then, Lee?
I did.
You're going to get spanked by the sound man, aren't you?
I can't reach your pedals without kicking the microphone.
Right.
Sorry.
It gives it exactly what it needs. It gives it a kick in the arse. Which is what you gave the microphone stuff.
I think what I was actually trying to sort of replicate there was a natural phase sound by actually moving the microphone intentionally across like that. If you like that sound, you know, that's how you do it.
You can employ Lee to move your mic stand for you.
Eddie Kramer said to me, that's how I get all those old Hendrix sounds. I just sit and
you just move the...
like a rudder.
You know, actually,
on a boat.
he did actually tell me that sometimes they would specifically move mic phase before or after as an effect. Yeah, crazy.
And if Eddie's watching, he never told me to do that at all, so I made all that up.
I love this amplifier.
Yeah.
I love Joe Satriani.
You know, the other cool thing that we found out, we both found this out, haven't we? And found out with B as well. It's kind of, these amplifiers gig, don't they? They're not designed to kind of like go, oh, you make sound amazing when you're playing in your bedroom and make sound amazing when you're playing in the shop, but then you get to the gig and kind of like you go, oh, I can't actually hear myself above it. These things just go, bam, I'm here.
Yeah, they cut through.
Yeah, this is me, I'm the guitar player, and I've got a Marshall half stack.
Yes. You mentioned Beer. Beer is the other guitar player in my band, Dorje. I think we should summon him with the power of our slapping hands. The sound of one hand clapping is the sound of friendship.
Hang on a second. No, hang on. I'm not. Okay. I think I was about to summon someone else.
No, it has to be Rabir.
Got to be Beer. Got to be Beer.
Make sure it's Rabir. Are you ready? You ready?
Feel the throw.
Ah! Hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
How you doing, mate?
I'm alright, thanks.
This is Rabir Massad.
Hi, y'all.
Guitar player in Dorje.
I am indeed.
If you're Spanish, he's Dorje. And the reason we summoned Rabir here, other than the fact that he's a really nice guy, is that for the majority of your musical career, you've been using JVM.
The 410,
yeah. So why don't you tell the guys what it is about JVM you like, and what you do with them, and how you set them and stuff, and then we'll talk about the differences you found here.
Yeah, I like the JVM410 head because you get like such tonal variation out of all 4 channels, and each channel has the 3 stages of gain, so it's almost infinite. And you know, you can, and with the whole MIDI programmable foot switch as well, that you can set, you know, the effects loop to be on whatever channel you want. So you can have, I have delays running through for most of my like lead tone and stuff, or my clean channel.
2 delays.
I have 2 delays.
In 7/8.
Yeah, I have it so that it repeats in 7/8. But anyway, that's too technical for right now. The good thing about it is that you could have that, say, on your clean channel and your light crunch channel, for instance, but you could be rocking out on your heavier channel, but you don't want it on that, so you can set the foot switch so that it would come on when you've come out of a heavy section straight back into clean, and it'll just be running all the time in the background, and it's great for that reason. Yeah.
And how many years have you played a JVM for?
I bought mine in 2007. It'd been out about 6 months, I think, when I bought it, and yeah, I don't want to change it really. I'm well happy with it.
Have you ever changed the valves or anything in it?
I had it. The last time I had the valves changed in it was or tubes was in 2008. in May 2008. So.
Has it ever broken or had a problem?
No, just the standard sort of revalving. That's it.
Marshall make very reliable amplifiers.
They do
in England. Yeah, I've been there. Milton Keynes.
Yeah,
Bletchley.
Milton Keynes, Kilton Means.
Kilton Means. Why don't you play us some Satch on my amazing Chapman guitar?
I will.
It's been a while. That's my favourite tune from my favourite Joe Satriani album.
It's great. The best thing about this amp is it actually just sounds like the tone on the album.
Yeah, it's really good.
Which is very different to the stock JVM as well. It just has that extra. I think it's something in the saturation of the sort of overdrive channel. Just sounds different, very different. The other ones has different. It's something in the mid range which is different to this one, but it's really nice.
That was amazing, mate.
It's nice.
I'm going to turn you back into Captain Lee now. Dude, your hair changes so dramatically when you do that. It's quite incredible.
I have to suck it in. That's what it is. No. Thank you very much, B. Serious, insane playing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, serious gear.
Yeah.
Great pickup. Amazing amplifier from a brilliant brand.
Yeah.
You know. There's nothing wrong with this, is there?
No.
Normally I try and find something objective to say about a piece of gear and you kind of, you know...
Well, you wanted reverb on it, didn't you?
Oh, I'd like reverb, but I can completely get if you've got brilliant reverb pedals or front of house guys sorting that for you. You just don't need it in an amp. It's a complete waste of space, you know.
No, it's a crazy amp. So, I get on to the... if you're a real Satch fan, anybody can own one of these, the black amplifiers. They're going to be in production for the foreseeable future now. They're not dissimilar money as far as I'm aware to the regular JVM. I vaguely remember the guys at Marshall saying to me that Satch was quite keen for his amp not to be seen as kind of like just a premium priced version of JVM. So this is much the same sort of price that JVM is anyway.
He's a nice guy, isn't he?
And it's just kind of, you can have a, you know, it's just your option to have a sort of a Satriani flavour of a JVM. So
can I just say, I think this is going to be very, very popular with metal guys too. A lot of the gent dudes, people that want that tight, focused gain sound, but with, you know, you can get rid of all the noise. It's just a really good package, isn't it, for that kind of thing?
These are $13.99. However, If you do want something a bit special that only a very select band of customers are ever going to be able to own, Marshall are doing a one-off run of a half stack in blue. So this is a Joe Satriani specified colour. It's a throwback to the 6100. So we mentioned that his favourite kind of Marshall amp was the 6100. Now they were blue, the 30th anniversary ones. Only 650 half stacks are being made. That's for the whole world.
Okay.
So you think about how many albums would Joe Satriani normally sell in a year?
He's platinum selling in the States. So he's big.
What do you do to sell platinum? 100,000 or a million?
I don't know. Probably 7 million.
A million.
A million.
So, okay, so he's got millions of fans. Only 650 of those fans are going to be able to get a blue one. And only 20 of that 650 are coming to Andertons. So if you want one of those, and I think we've already taken pre-orders for 3 or 4 of them anyway. So if you want a blue one, you need to get your order in super fast.
Are they much more expensive?
Those are going to... not much, maybe. I mean, you have to buy it as a half stack. So it's £2,199. So it's maybe £100 or £200 dearer than it would be if you were just going to buy it.
Are they signed, or have they got anything?
Not signed, but actually, to be honest, I don't think Marshall have released a lot of... You never know. They might come with some goodies. I'll have to find out more at the time. But as far as I'm aware, it's just a straightforward, exactly the same as the black stack, just in blue and limited to 650. So if you're a big Satch fan and you kind of want that, maybe he's going to be using blue ones when you see him on tour. I'm not sure. But don't worry about that. If you haven't got the money to get the blue one now, or blue's not your colour or whatever.
The same gubbins inside.
It's exactly the same as the black one, and the black one isn't limited edition, so that's just going to be in production. You know.
I really like the fact that Marshall do this, but I like that Joe didn't have his name scrawled on the front.
It's become the new fashion, hasn't it?
But it's really good. You know, he signed it down here. It just says, you know, Marshall JVM Joe Satch edition. If you looked at it, you wouldn't know it was a signature model.
This thing really here is just a sticker, so that comes off, and then it just looks like a regular. And that is the new cool though, isn't it? Because I know
if I was making a signature amplifier, I would do the same thing. I'd have a tiny little signature somewhere, and that will be it. You know, Chapman. Yeah, just a little tiny signature. Yeah.
If I was making one, it would go Captain in neon like that, 7 foot tall.
Joe, if you're watching this video, I'd like to apologise on behalf of Andertons.co.uk, where you're welcome to frequent for a caffeinated beverage at any time with myself and Captain.
We would love to see you if you're next time you're in the UK. We'd love to see you in the store. So anyway, if you've got any other questions about this fine piece of beautifulness here, you can always contact Andertons, sales@andertons.co.uk. Visit the website, send us emails, text us, Facebook us.
Yes.
Or do that insane thing that no one does anymore. Come and see us face to face. You know, interact, human to human.
I've been Rob Chappers.
I'm the Captain.
See you later.
Later.